I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO, and with me in studio today are, I don't know whether it's very evident that there are twins, angles are different, and an only child. I don't know how to describe twins. Two of the people who fascinate me the most in the world. Like, I think I meet you even often, but then when something happens and you realize, oh, it's an only child. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, today we are having the conversation, just sharing our experiences as growing up as twins or an only child. And in studio with me are beautiful people who I will let you introduce yourself as you'd like to be known.
Okay. Wow, what an intro. My name is Cherie Lindiwe.
Yes.
I'm a digital content producer and an only child, as Oliver stated, clearly not a twin. Yeah.
How will we know? Let me try and remember you. This one is Ian. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hi, what's up, guys? My name is Ian Kamonye Gitao. I love Kamonye. It's my favorite name.
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. I'm a tech guy. I'm a marketer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a jack of all trades.
Okay. So is Kamonye the family name or your name?
Kamonye, the middle name should be family name.
That's yours.
Name. It's my name. Gitao is our surname. So my dad's name.
Because you both have Gitao.
Yeah, so we were split into two.
I
took Kamonye being my mom's side. He took dad. So he'll introduce himself.
Okay, Sam.
So hi guys.
Pato.
Yes, this is Pato. Patrick Moremi Gitao. So
yeah.
Moremi is my name. Gitao is the family name. Entrepreneur, mostly into transport and logistics.
Yeah.
A DJ. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. I usually say how you want to be known. So if you want to plug your business, this is the moment. But as you can also do it during the podcast. So usually I put out a prompt on my social media and people respond with their experiences. And that's usually now our talking points, or rather, I'll just read them out. And if it triggers something or if you relate, and then that basically you tell us what about it you relate to. So I'll start with the first one I asked. The first prompt I put out was, only child or a twin, what was or is life like? And the first person here said, growing up sad and lonely, but when grown, a bit fun. I guess that's for you, Cherie.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit opposite for me because growing up, because I was just so used to being on my own all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't know, quite a creative person, just generally. Yeah. I found myself just being in my head a lot and imagining scenarios and situations. And I think probably that's how I ended up being like in the creative space, like, you know, just writing stuff and being an artist. But I found myself just living in my head a lot. And, you know, finding very imaginative ways to, you know, keep myself entertained.
Yeah.
Also being raised by a single mom as well. So there was a lot of like alone time. But I don't know, I don't remember it really being sad. I just remember being just a very creative and imaginative person. But then growing up, I I did not enjoy, especially in my teenage years, because there was a lot of attention on me, and I want to be out there. I want to go to I want to hit the clubs. I want to talk to boys, and
There's
my
no
mom
one
is
else to
always
distract.
on me.
Yeah.
She's always on me, and I was like, damn, like give me some breathing space to like grow. I think she was also just not ready. For the fact that I was, growing older and coming into my own space. So I didn't have any other siblings to like distract her.
Yeah.
So I was like, all the attention was me. That's the part I really just did not like at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saying that, I'm thinking we have audience, we have live audience in studio, and is also an only child who's refused to come on. I'm thinking in African homes, is it true that you can be an only child, or you're surrounded so much by relatives and just people that it just feels like you've had a normal experience?
Not in my case. Also because I grew up quite far away from like my extended family. So we were all around the country. Like there are some who lived in Nairobi. I grew up in Eldoret, and there's no one from my family who lived in Eldoret. So that whole community living thing, it just did not relate to me. The only people that I interacted with were like maybe my colleagues in school, like my fellow friend, like my friends in school, basically.
Right.
But for me, I wasn't raised by a village, as they'd say. But during the holidays, my mom would like just ship me off to like a relative's place, like or to shags or something. But I really did not really grow around like
around a community.
Yeah, so I was for me, I was alone for a majority of my childhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So then that brings me to the twins. Are you the only kids, or you have siblings?
We have other siblings.
Yeah.
There's a firstborn. We come number.
We are number 3. We tie at number 3. There's the firstborn.
Yeah.
Then there's secondborn, a dude and a dude. Then there's me and Pato. Then there's 2 sisters. One in college. The other one is in high school. So we are 6 of us.
Your mother continued.
And my mother continued. If she would have more, trust me, she would.
My lord.
It is a village. You know how Cherie has been brought up. She's mostly been alone. Either it's a school or a few neighbors she has. As we've had a whole, it's a whole village in the house. Whether it's from cooking, whether it's from, your mom had mama alikuwa kibarua.
And for instance, now you've noticed that we are four guys. These are the 2 ladies on Akuja.
After.
Later,
Yeah.
So she really had a lot of work dealing with the boys. She's what do you call it? Boys.
Boy mom.
Boy mom, yeah.
So, but we were good. We were good kids.
From the indisciplines that we've had,
Some of
trust
us.
me, she was the one being sent to school.
Oh,
Come and Sijui Pato has done what? Brian has done what? Ian has done something. Karaoke's just done what? So
yeah.
she was the one Dad would send her. She's the discipline master. Go handle them, Then for Dad, it's just the usual. Mostly it is mom and the boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that puts you at being middle kids in a family.
Yes.
Do your parents have a favorite twin?
I don't think so. But part of me sees as if each parent has one. I see as if my mother is more Pato side. Whenever we do something, Pato haizifanya hiyo.
Yeah.
And I'm on Dad's side. Like even my career, I followed Dad's steps. Dad is a financial guy. So I chose that career because I thought, what, I'd love to be like Dad one day.
Okay.
Yeah, this is life. But but still, they always claim to say there's no favorite. We are all the same.
Oh, that's all parents.
Deep down,
All
you'll
parents
feel
do
like,
say.
for instance, I always feel like I'm a mom's boy.
Yeah.
I'm always on her side. Even when, let's say, mess up or do something, she'll be the one to kutetea and everything.
But it's Ian who's named after the mom's
Mom,
side.
yeah,
That's
funny
the
thing.
That's odd.
Exactly. So, because I'm named after Dad's side.
After, yeah.
So the only take I think I have from my dad's side is my more of how my dad behaves. For example, he's a hard worker. he might have done. He did what do we call? He did finance and all that social sciences. But kwa ground, dad is a hands-on kind of guy. He's a car person, also a car guy. He tends to do things manual stuff and all that. So I happen to take that. Ian, on the other hand,
is a diva.
Changing that light bulb there. No. Pato will have to do it. And the guy will have to go up and, change the aerial and all that. So
I don't do electrical work. I was
that's
also
why
electrocuted.
it's more
Never.
into the finance and the office setup.
Yeah.
Life. I'm more of the street guy, streetwise. I drive, I DJ. So I don't like really the office setup.
Okay. It makes sense.
Actually, it makes sense a lot even how we dress up. Well, not today. Today we are more of a casual. It was the official guy.
Hamna telepathy. Mkava jeans what?
I grew up
Because
wanting
it's Saturday.
to wear
It's Saturday, so-
official. I used to steal dad's ties and just dress up in the mirror. And one day,
Yeah.
ndakuwa navaa suti.
We have worn ties on weddings. So.
Me, I feel like you talk as if you had a lot of attention.
Both of us.
Yes, as if when you talk, it's as if you don't have other siblings. Is it only me getting that vibe?
There's
It
a bit
seems
of that.
like you alone.
Because now I think for my parents, they would have this, if it's something about Ian, I have to share the same level of attention to Patrick. So Calvin, Brian, Michelle, and Kate would get a bit of the after. Right now, Michelle and Kate are younger, so they are getting the full attention. All of us, those we've moved out, and all the sisters live at home. So they are constantly with our parents. But for us, I think way back then, it was the two of us. Cherie being the firstborn, you have your own pressures.
Yeah.
Brian akotua hapo katikati, unajua middle anakuaga wewe tuchukua, pick a few from your younger brothers and your older brothers. So I think we did get extra.
The fact that we are a bit spaced. My firstborn bro is
Mom had this 4, so there's a 4-year
He's a
gap.
bit older. So she had time to deal with each and every kid.
Yeah.
So when it was a time, we were the middle phase. Before now, my two sisters
The
came.
girls, yeah.
That way, but what is he talked about when he does something, I have to somehow live up to that certain level playing on expectation with him. There was that. There's a competition. You don't want to be the bad apple among the two twins. Because now you feel like you're just the only guys. Yes, you have others around, but you feel like you're just
the comparison is more between the two of you. All right. I'll read one for twins here. I have a fraternal twin sister, and we are the only kids of our parents. It is the ghetto. One sentence, they did not explain further. Give me context. Someone else said, fraternal here. Childhood sucked because why did we have to share most things and go everywhere together? For you, that was okay.
I started the sharing, but we used to do everything together, like from dress code all the way to mom can't go with Pato, leave me alone at home with dad or aunties or whoever. We have to all go. Shags ni hapa Kawangware. So whenever mom is going to see dad, my grandfather, Mr. Kamonye, he'd make sure he's gone with both of us. If he's buying us, that Christmas period, dress code used to all fanana.
Yeah.
So we do the same side pocket, do the same t-shirts, the same 2 cups.
Do they consider you one unit? Do they just treat you as one? They don't think of you.
Back then,
as,
yes.
At some point, it felt like that. Like we're just one unit. Splitting.
He can't choose yellow, I choose blue. I am buying yellow, you're all wearing yellow.
Yeah.
Same toy. Right now, maybe they can separate us, but back then, it was the same thing from school. But from primary, I think we've been in the same class, unless some schools would split us into 2 streams. Is in, let's say, class 5A, I'm in 5B, something like that. Yeah. I think the only place we separated is in campus.
Oh, at a
All the
campus.
way
Me, I wasn't even separated with my sister, even in campus.
All the way.
And we are not twins.
He went to a private school. I went to a public school.
Hapo ni
my lord.
KCSE. Hapo ni max.
There's that. So there's that. We'll get back to that. So.
I was going to ask a question that now I was to say my sister has twins, and when we were shopping things with her, I realized that the picking of the same thing is not so much a personal. They're considering you a unit. Being a parent is so much errands and logistics. Just get done with it. I'm not about to think about two colors. Just chukua mbili tukienda. So I think that was the mentality behind everything same.
I can weigh in on that. If he would be, let's say mom buys him a yellow toy, I would want the yellow one. So it was more, yes, my mom wouldn't want to find different colors or different types of things.
Yeah.
Because if he bought him one, I'd want the same. And if I was a kid, I would cry until I get the same. Yeah. Vice versa, he would want, mine looks better, the blue one. He'd want the same. So we'd end up fighting till mom gets bored.
Felt like a competition.
That made sense. Hey, my
You
lord.
want to be like your brother, you want to do everything the same. It's going to feel like a competition.
My kids are just dumb. If you see a yellow one, you want a yellow one. If you see a blue one, you want a blue one.
You should see us now all grown up, totally different.
Yeah.
Do everything different together.
I guess it's the beauty of growing up. Yeah. So someone else said, fascinating and terrifying. My pals who have siblings are widely and wildly different. Do you feel like people are different from you?
In a matter of personality, or
she just says it's quite different, but I'm thinking there's something that I saw in some of the responses, and I actually met a video on TikTok that said the same. Growing up as an only child, you don't conceptualize sharing, and you only realize that as an adult.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I don't know, it's quite strange because my mom is a very generous person. I think I got that trait from her.
Yeah.
I know I should be inherently selfish because, I was just never used to sharing with anybody around me, and everything used to just be for me only. But my mom would have none of that because she is an extremely generous person with her friends, with her relatives, anyone who needs help, she would always, do her best. So I'm happy that that is something. I didn't turn out to be, a selfish person who doesn't know how to share. But I think what I'd say is, I ended up being an extroverted person, which is also crazy, given how much time I spent by myself. But at the same time, I also don't mind like my own company. I can be alone in the house for like days on end. But I prefer to be out there talking to people. So I think that's pretty much how I'd see. I don't know if I'd be the only thing I'd say also about like being different is I kind of envy people with siblings to some extent, because I feel like there's that support system that people with siblings have that I sometimes really struggle with. I will never be like an auntie, such things really like,
okay.
When I think about them, like it's sad. So I try not to think about them at all. I plan personally on being child free as well. So like that's just another thing. I'm like, am I just going to be like this island
with you?
It just ends with me like for the rest of my life. I'm never going to like be invited for like to be someone's, okay, maybe my friends, to be like a godmother, or like like just being an auntie. I'm never gonna be an auntie. That's like crazy to like I'm never gonna be like a rich auntie to someone, to spoil someone's kid, So when you think about such, it's kind of sad when you think about it.
Okay. So for the sharing bit, it isn't so much being generous or giving. There's an example I saw of someone who was saying they were dating. For them, they were dating a last born, not an only child. and they just lumped up lastborns and only children together. And they were like, me, when I go to the kitchen to make breakfast, I make 2 plates for me and my boyfriend. But him, when he goes to the kitchen, he just makes his plate because that's how. And it's not out of he's not a mean person. He just doesn't fathom. Hi, do you want eggs also? Let me make for you. Them, they just think, see you, if you want, you'll come and make.
Yeah, so again, I'm telling you, like, my mom trained me really well.
Okay, so
on
you
that.
don't have
like,
that either.
No.
Yeah.
So even if, like, your situation, you're going to the kitchen, because, you know, of course I was living with her, you know. So whatever it is that I do, I have to share with her.
Yes.
You know. So she made sure that, you know, the whole sharing aspect of, you know, was instilled from a very early age. And I know she did that intentionally, because she knows for a fact that if she didn't, then I would have a problem, like, later on in life, you know. So, and she knew very early on that she was not going to have more kids. And she was like, me, when I gave back to you, that was like the most harrowing experience of my life. I do not want to repeat that again.
I thought it was circumstantial.
It wasn't circumstantial. She was like, that shit was painful as hell. No, I'm not going through that again. Are you kidding me?
Your mother's run masterclass for people.
Yeah, so she was a bit more like, I don't know. I think I'd categorize her as a bit of a modern mom.
She was very liberal.
She was very liberal, and she was just like, nope. Even when she got married again, she was like, nope. Like, that's like a prerequisite. If we're gonna continue this relationship, just know I'm not having more kids. I am very satisfied with the one that I have. That's it. Yeah.
So it is not Kenyan men. It is normal to not want any more children or to not want children.
Tell that to our parents.
And there's something else I wanted to say. When you say sometimes you want siblings, for us who have siblings, I don't know if it's for everyone, but sometimes we wish we were the only kids. Because in the sense that for maybe the Black Sheep episode will explain it better, but you're like, what's the point of having people if they're never there? Like, you are alone in the world. It's better to know that I'm alone, even physically, than to know I'm alone, but there are people. Maybe that's But if you listen to the episodes, firstborn to this episode, you'll realize we all have such different perspectives. And if we just extend kindness, there's no one who has more privilege than the other. No one is enjoying something different. We're all struggling in different ways.
Yeah.
I've even forgotten what I was to ask. Anyway, someone else said, only child to a single mom. This is a cyclone, tornado that needs its own name, a cyclone entanglement. And that brings me to the question: did you feel like you are like your mom was making you an extension of her?
Yeah, in some ways. Me and my mom are completely different people. She's more like scientifically, like she was very good in the sciences and maths, and I was horrible at them. I was always just good at in the arts and languages, and this is just something she just could not fathom. Like, she's like, how can you? Sometimes I remember she even asked me severally, like, sometimes I wonder how could you be my child? Like, we are so different, you know. Of course, our blood types are even different. Like, and sometimes I could see like how disappointed she was. I know she didn't intend it I know she loves me very much, but there are just certain aspects of me that are so different that she can't fathom, and she wished that I could be more like her. And I would sometimes find myself feeling like if I had another sibling, maybe, you know, we could share in this. Maybe there are certain things that they would have had more in common, but now I felt like she was heaping the pressure on me to be a lot like her. And Yeah,
really
so
get
so that was, you know, even just personality wise, we're kind of the same because we're also both extroverted. But just in terms of our likes, our interests, very, very different. And I did feel a bit of pressure, you know, growing up, especially in those early years when I couldn't like stand up for myself. You know, when you're living under the same roof, you know, and you're constantly getting this, you know, criticism of who you are, who your personality, how you've turned out to be, and it's not like exactly what you would have pictured me to be. Man, that part was a ghetto.
I found that because I was listening to the other podcast you were on, and you were saying you just left to move into your own place.
Yeah.
Because home was not
quite early on.
Yeah. 19. And I was like, kwani only kids is not all bestie with parents.
No.
One will tend to think that.
No, at 19 I had already moved out of home.
Yeah, that was very wild to me.
I had already moved out of home. Like I did everything I could to the good thing, I was very good at writing. The same thing that, you know, she kind of criticized me about, not criticize me, but she was like, how are you even gonna make a living out of this? You know, I should have taken something more like in the science field or I'm like, I'm not good at that.
So she was the scientist.
She was the
an artist.
Yeah. She was very, very good at school, extremely brilliant. I was brilliant at the things I liked. Like even if you saw my KCSE results, it was A and D. Like it was just complete opposites.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, like the things I didn't like, I didn't really bother with them.
Yeah.
So as I said, like I moved out quite early on because I really needed to. I think part of me also was like, for me to maintain a healthy relationship with my mom, we cannot be in the same place again, and it's just me, so everything is just on me. You know, when she's frustrated, it was just gonna be taken out on me. And because now I was growing into like my own self, and I'm a bit of a wild card. I'm very, you know, I have a strong mind, I'm very strong-willed, and she's also the same like that. So, and you know, people who are like usually
sparks.
Yeah. Both of us are extremely stubborn. So I had to just leave. And she understood, you know, and our relationship became so much better after.
Yeah. That came up in an episode in season 3 where people moving out of home, and a lot of people said, I moved out to improve the relationship with my parent because in the same house, it was wild.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm thinking on the same point for the twins, I can't find a good word. But do you feel like you're sort of, when growing up, you were sort of fetishized? We expected you to be, you see the way we came here and the first thing was like, you don't have telepathy. Was that a thing? Like your parents felt like these twins, we need to present them to the world as a trophy.
I think most of the same, we shared a lot of things, even in our performance, like in primary, high school, we sort of used to be in the same, let's say, class.
Yeah.
You know, tunachana na a few numbers. I think the difference came by uko mwisho form 4 uko
which class sciences now.
But for that particular point you raised about our parents somehow feeling like they expect something. I didn't feel like there was that between. You know, never felt that way. They somehow raised us differently. Like, you know, you're the same as your brother or your sister, so you know, everyone to forge their own path. That's how it felt like. You know,
I think for us,
that's why we've never felt like, you know, we are twins and we look alike and all that. But you know, I felt like this is just my, like, let's say Kevin or Brian, my other brother. So they let us, you know, forge our own paths. Let's say career-wise, our hobbies and whatever everyone likes. But we do share a lot of things.
But in a way, I think movies. I wanted to be like him. Growing up, he was more on the extroverted side. I was the quiet one. So I would see him, you know, out there interacting with guys, going to funkies and sports. On the other hand, watu wakuja funky, mi naenda dom ama naenda entertainment hall, I want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I really wish to be, I don't know whether he shared the same, but in a way, there's a few bits I wanted that I was too extroverted.
He's just
introverted,
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually hearing today. I took more of the wild card side
From the
for a
beginning,
while.
yeah.
From let's say late primary school on towards high school, campus I was a bit laid down. Because I did biology in campus, so you needed to be a bit serious.
Accounts,
But of
there's an
late,
seriousness.
sorry,
Accounts was too serious.
not really. So, but
He took
recently
accounts and then also DJ.
I realized I'm taking more of what he used to be.
Yeah.
A more laid back, somehow introvertish kind of, I'll also stay in the house for like a week without doing anything.
Yeah.
Just watch movies and whatever.
I
I no longer go out. I don't think I do
No,
clubbing,
I think
but
you just got
I've had
tired.
fun.
You've had so much
I've enjoyed
fun.
my 20s.
Are your parents referred to as mama twins or baba twins at any point?
Mostly my mom will be referred to with our firstborn, Mama Karaoke.
Oh, okay.
But people would be like, Siwani Mama Wala Mapacha, the twins, yeah. So mostly the firstborn, because now she's in Shags, so the setup will go. Now people will refer you to your firstborn. But we were all brought up here in Rongai. So growing up, it would be Mama
When you say
Mapacha.
Shags, you said Shags is Kangwa.
Not Shags, yeah. We have two Shags. Said your mom is
okay.
in Kaongware. Then said your dad is in Nyandarua.
Shags Kaongware.
Imagine.
I go see
Why
Buka there. I go to my aunties. But now the other side is uko cash crops za Nyandarua. So tukiamua tunaenda Nyandarua.
Mimi kisikia Shags na picture mang'ombe manini
Yeah.
Now that's on
farms.
the dad's
And a
side.
6-hour ride.
Otherwise, mom ni msichana wa Nairobi, unasema ni demo wa Nairobi.
Yeah.
Sasa ndo alikuja kumtafuta huku.
Wale mtoa huko.
Oh, your dad is the Kienyo. He was in, he came to
I would say
town.
that.
But other than that, I think, yes, I know you can be both. You can be an extrovert and an intro. But mostly I think I began as an intro. Then along the way, picked up. And I think I was
bit
able.
of extra, yeah.
Yeah.
Right
But
now,
for him,
he's edging towards the wild card at this
he
particular
was a
age.
wild card. I remember way back in campus, they would go out. I'm left at the house.
Yeah.
They would call in the morning, tufungulie gate, tumekuja mbio sana.
Yeah.
So I'm the one to clean up after they've figured, washazima. The one cleaning up after them.
Yeah.
Because dad would come the next day, ako, hii nyumba, you guys had a bash. So I have to clean up, make sure there's no evidence. Dada nakama ako. Because not mostly...
Mnapiga sherehe kwa wazazi. I thought you were living at the hostels.
No. Because
Tunaishi pamoja for the longest, so hata campus life
Yeah.
tulikuwa tu tunaishi home.
What
It
happened?
didn't make sense, renting out somewhere. I was in town, Kenya Poly. It was in Nazarene.
to give you context is we all grew up in Rongai. Then around 2005, mom, they had a home in Nyandarua. So mom decided to go stay there. She loves the environment. So the boys sit kwa Bakiku with our dad. So every weekend he would go home, be with mom. So unaona tumeachia nyumba. So in campus, I was still in Apo Nazarene. It's Apo Rongai.
Yeah.
He's going to town. So dad is like, I can't rent out houses for you guys. Naka hapa, kila mtu mnatoka asubuhi, jioni tutapatana hapa. So every weekend we know dad is in Ocha.
Yeah.
Wadau wanaamua.
Cherie.
It is late. Unasikia hawa, we've gone to West Emin kwa nyumba. Serious. Episode 1.
Yeah.
I never used to love going out. I was like a true introvert. Being around people for me was just something else. So I would stay indoors, wait for them, clean up, begin another week.
We used to let him have a lot of responsibilities when it come to is dad coming home this Sunday or is coming on Monday. So
I'm the lookout.
And our inside guy the lookout.
Wachi.
Sisi tuende tujibambe.
It's so interesting how you guys like switched personalities somehow almost. For me, I it's also interesting. I also switched personalities. I was not always an extrovert.
Yeah.
During the time that I was living with my single mom, what am I even trying to say? During the
Your
time
mom
I was
and she
living,
was single.
during my time of living with my mom, from childhood up until just shortly after high school, I was an introvert completely. And I think part of that is I felt a bit, I don't know, like my mom was very,
Suffocating. It's overbearing.
It's overbearing.
Yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
very, very extroverted person. And I think like just next to her, my true self couldn't like come out.
Yeah.
You see, I wasn't outspoken or really, I'd say, even confident, because it always just felt like
I was even
like
to
you're under a
ask-
spotlight.
Yes.
Like you're under like mtu amekwekea like magnifying glass like this.
Try out new
You're
things.
always on trial, like what you eat, how you, everything was just so. I was in a shell. Then when I got out, I don't know. It didn't even take long. In a few months, I completely different person.
different person.
Completely. Even her, she was like, "Hey, Connie, did you go for a personality transplant?"
But on story of confidence, I've always thought, what are they called? Only kids and last ones are very confident because in my opinion, I thought they were let to be themselves.
Last bonds maybe. Only child. I hardly.
Hakuna.
Only
Hardly,
child.
hardly.
Husbands.
Maybe, of course, maybe other only childs have different experiences depending on how they were raised.
Yeah.
But
Because I feel like you guys, every only child I know is so confident. Like they express themselves so confidently. I'm just like, could it be it came into play when they were younger?
it's a process. I think it's a process. Kwanza, as only child of boomer parents,
It's a lot.
it's a lot, especially girls.
Hey.
Girls. Now that's another whole other conversation.
Because I was to ask about your sisters, it feels like the experience here is not the same. But anyway,
Totally different, actually.
yeah.
Different.
I was thinking the dynamic. I usually feel like even when we're talking about all the firstborns all the way to lastborns, the dynamic is very different when it's with boys. Like you'll think lastborns are like this, firstborns are like this, but when it's a girl in that position, the dynamic is very different. Yeah. I'll read the longest, and I think the last one for twins here was fraternal here. Childhood sucked because why did we have to share most things and go everywhere together? As an adult right now, it's better because the bond has improved and we've tried to build individual lives. However, the parenting, my parents used to deny me of opportunities just because my brother didn't get in. It didn't matter whether he applied or not for the opportunities. I'd be told that it's unfair. Never mind that my bro doesn't even care because between us, I'm the one more active academically and in grabbing opportunities. Into adulthood, they can't stop me now. They can't stop me. So now they try to guilt trip me about it. So you see the dynamic changes when it's a girl and a boy. When it's a girl, girls are given, from the series I've done, girls are given more responsibility. It's like the society must assign responsibility to girls. Even if we are the same age, we have the same abilities. So I guess you guys don't relate.
No, we don't.
Because I think for us, it is the other way around.
Yeah.
When growing up, we were so close. Like I would want, whenever mom is taken out, like for example, Christmas, mom would have this ritual. We're doing theater, Kenya cinema maybe, then we do, those days was Kenchik, way back, then Uhuru Park. Get our brick games, get face painting, and later on go and see Kuka hapo, Kawangware. We used to enjoy that. Hata tunasahau we have the elder ones. It is us two.
Wait. Nyimpe.
Wengine watatafuta siku yao. It was us. Ama wametuma kwa kukaa.
I forgot you have siblings.
Like, it became, I felt as if we were in our own world.
Yeah.
Then wako huko. Being a firstborn, I believe he had a lot of pressure. Kariuki would be, sisi tunaenda movie, wewe unafaa kufanya assignments, you're in high school or something.
Yeah.
So, Pierre, he wanted to like get out of that kababble.
Yeah.
So whenever we are doing things with mom, napata na uncle, I'm going somewhere. So growing up, I think we wanted to do everything together. Maybe time weekend after high school now, nataka kufanya hii, I want to do something different.
Okay. Yeah.
I think our parents gave us, they weren't like, you have to do the same thing. For us, it is, you choose whatever you want to do. And maybe we were 6 of us. So I think the focus was, I can't rely on what Ian has done differently. Oh, I mean, you're a different hairstyle. Because there's so many of us. So at a notice later, ulieka tattoo lini.
Yeah.
So I think a difference between us and Cherie, maybe because you've been an only child, any new thing, you'd even do something different, your mom would notice. Sissy would take a while because he's done something, I've done something different.
Yeah.
You have the older siblings, then the younger siblings, wamekuja. So more attention is on them.
Yeah.
The girls, our first girls. Mom was amelea vijana. So
Totally different generation.
So I think there was a bit of room for us to try out things, fail at some, excel at others.
Yeah. Oh, I've forgotten the question, but anyway. So I asked another prompt. Did you have it all as an only child?
Apo, I can say I enjoyed to some extent.
Yeah.
Apo, I enjoyed for real. My mom, I don't know, she was caught in this place where she wanted to, do everything for me, but at the same time, she didn't want to spoil me. I could tell sometimes, and shikilia, but you can only do that for so long. I remember as a kid, my mom traveled quite a bit. And part of that, and one of the most, I think, grateful things I am to her is she never left me behind. So, of course, if we were siblings, it would be quite expensive to do that. But now, because I was an only kid, I had experiences that a lot of kids don't have, like international trips. You should have to go for work or for holiday.
I was to ask kunaachwa wapi.
Sikuwa naachwa. Like by the time I was maybe 13 years old, I'd been to more than 12 countries.
Oh wow.
And by the time people come, when we would go for holidays, which is now, let me get into it now. My mom took me to a primary school somewhere huko Nandi. It was the ghetto for real. But she took me there because, so our parents are like, this one went to that school and ended up becoming a doctor. So Nani's kid went there and ended up, and they just expect that that experience is going to be replicated.
They remove 70 A's every year.
They remove what A. So it was a very, very strict school in the village. Deep Ukoivo in Nandi. It was quite the ghetto. Sometimes we'd even fetch water from the river, like for real, like a bucket on your heads.
I think that side school thing. Those sides, kuvuna mahindi, kufetch maji kwa river, those are very normal things.
Those sides. Monday to Monday, like oh my god. Alafu sasa during the, and this is what I'm telling you, my mom is a very strange person. Alafu sasa during the holidays, ati sijui tunaenda Mauritius. Na nimekuwa nikichota maji na bucket for 3 months. So she wants to spoil me, but she doesn't want to humble me at the same time.
Baby.
At balance. So I think up to now, I think I'm quite well adjusted. Like I can pretty much like survive in any kind of environment.
Everywhere you go, you can be able to just.
Yeah. Adjust. So I remember I would come back to school from a holiday either in Mauritius or we went to France sometime.
Yeah.
And I'm telling people, I was in France, my guy. I was like, I could believe. Hizo ni jaba. Wapi picha? Ambia picha ni bado zina developiwa. So unajua hizo siku unapeleka film. Unapeleka film. Na kama picha bado zina develop. Kwa niambia tu people, for the most part, people thought I was such a pathological liar.
Yeah.
For real. Because like, why are you in this school?
And I'm starting to think maybe the girls who used to tell us their stories, maybe it was true. And then their parents have brought them to...
Kwanza in primary, remember after closing day, you will have so many stories after holidays.
Yeah.
You want to share it all. Like,
Alafu Cherie anakuja hapo ati amekuwa France.
Nimekuwa France, mimi nimekuwa Mauritius. Kwani unafikiria mbona nilikuja kuchukuliwa mapema? I used to do my exams like 1 week before everyone.
Oh, really?
Because of how the flights were needed. Walikuwa nafikiria tu maybe we had some problems at home. I was like, me I was abroad, my guy. And then even if the photos were there, my mom would check my bag so thoroughly before I went to school.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hide them anywhere. Alikuwa anani check ile style ya prison style.
Na kuna screenshot.
Nakwambia ukoa.
Take a photo.
Ingine maybe picha huko. So baze, watu wamenigaslight. I'm telling them, guys, walikataa kabisa. So that was a crazy experience. So yes, I was spoiled, but at the same time not. For me personally, I was spoiled, but not I was also like shown this other side. In terms of being showered with gifts and all that, not necessarily, but I was very well dressed. I would always have like the trendiest clothes and so at least that part I can say I enjoyed. I
relate to that in the sense of go watch our what is it called, poverty trauma episode. When we grew up, we didn't grow up that poor, we had enough, but I think my mom had the mentality of these kids will be spoiled. Like anything that looked in the general direction of luxury was getting spoiled. So right now as an adult, I started to realize I have tendencies of tutabia tu twa umaskini zenye you really did not lack. Like there's tendencies of things that you picked from just I know the biggest one for me is I cannot throw food. Me, if my bread catches mold, I choma it and eat. Like I can't fathom chakula kwa dustbin. And I was like, I didn't
just start out that area, throw it out.
Yes, but we didn't grow up lacking, so it was just ile trauma ya utaribu, utakosa. There are people who don't have, but in real sense, you had. So trying to create a balance. I've
always wanted to know, being an only child, you getting like it all. As tuko wengi, you can imagine mom has to balance.
Yes.
Her cooking chapos for Christmas. Najua mko ngapi? Was 6. Kila mtu ngapi? 2. Sai na breakfast. Because now, even if you travel, I think we once went to Mombasa. We were in class 8. We were
in actual
high school.
From 3.
We had to miss wawili hawakuenda because my dad ametupanga kwa gari, the big bro, first born and the second born, the twins and the sisters
first born.
Even though kuko sisi wenyewe tulipangwa hiyo gari katoshea. Other than that, now we had to we used to have dad bought us a car back in campus, so we would have Yama boy, then yeye anakam na mom and the sisters and maybe Shosho or someone. So we used to go in 2 cars everywhere we went. Tungetoshe ama wengine wapanda matatu, wengine enda na gari.
Too many of us.
And so the car that was bought, what was the dynamic? Is it your big brother or it's the twins now who
It was actually a twin thing.
It was a twin thing.
Because he's the family driver. Maka wa leo, I trust him more to drive more than I do. Like hata sasa hivi venye tumekam, he was the one driving.
But for some reason, I think I was the only one who had the interest in actually.
Because you are the handy person.
That was hard on us. You drive,
he started driving
samosa, he's
like
all over you.
2 years.
So you have to stay like this. He adapted many.
I'm still the family driver. apart from that, I'm the official family
passenger
driver.
princess.
I would leave my license. I would leave my license at home.
Yeah.
But when we were going to Nyandarua, we were passing by the highway, Naivasha. Dad would be like, I'm stopping over Delamere. Someone takes over. Nimesahau DL. I remember those days, cops were a bit harsh. Hard on us, kama una DL. So he'd also, mostly ni yange drive. Niko tu hapo tu.
Na si DL, si mkishikwa si unachukua DL yake.
Mi ningeambia dad sijui kuendesha. It was a manual car back then. It was hatupe ile yake, the new one. Hatupe it was a KK, a manual Toyota E100.
E91.
E91.
And I think I felt like I needed to step up.
Gari imenipoa trauma.
He's a car guy, he loves driving, and whenever he will open up the bonnet, he wants to show you this is how the engine was, this is the gearbox.
Yeah, I was never there.
I was the only one who wanted, trying to show him like, I'm interested. I'm also interested. I'd like to get this up from you. Because everyone else seemed to be interested in something different.
Okay.
So I really took into the physical things that Dad used to do. Let's say cars, building stuff. Tukiona kamjengo home, mama, they're doing anything. I was the guy.
I'm doing the Excel.
Yeah.
Now they wouldn't try sabu hapo. We need this. But I was the hands-on kind of guy with him.
He's still our family driver. So everywhere mom goes, utanikujia.
The idea of
it is him. Always him.
I'm thinking now it's wild that the idea of sharing or spread out responsibility doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
In the sense that if a driver was needed, and then
me too.
Sharing, I'm just stuck on sharing still. Sharing in the sense that what is it called? Poverty trauma episode. Brian said there used to be a loaf of bread. So if you're the last one to wake up, you are getting the crust.
Yeah.
So that's the rush in the morning. And I'm just thinking for you then, it never occurs. You never have a lack mentality.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like a very random thought has just crossed my mind while they were talking about suji chapatis, jinini.
Yeah.
I had never seen a big sufuria for my whole life. Hadi sijui when. Ati sufuria kubwa. Hadi kwa harusi ndio maybe nitaona.
Yeah.
Sufuria that's like more than like a medium size.
Yeah.
No. Our stuff was tiny because it's just me and her. So it's just like small to things. I'd never seen a big sufuria. I up to now I don't even own one.
Yeah, that's it. Because for me, coming from my home, which was a very huge house, to living alone, I had to really adjust. It took me years for me to learn to buy a kg of rice is enough for me. When I moved into my own house, I was stocking up shit like I ran a family. I was just, it took a while to, sufuria imetosha, bili is enough. Yeah. You can cook this much food, finish and cook tomorrow again. You don't have to do batches. You're not being economical. You're not running a household. So yeah, that was a wild thing. Let me just read through because I think we've already discussed this, but the responses here I had were, this was, sorry. Did you have it all as an only child? Someone said yes, and then some more. But to be honest, it was quite lonely, especially since I had early curfews and was introverted.
That curfew thing kwanza.
Curfew?
Does it apply to ladies only? Because we never had curfew. Even
and for your
only
sisters?
Child, they do have.
Yeah.
It's unfair.
Yeah.
It's really quite unfair. My curfews were wild. My curfews were so wild.
Before the sun sets.
Before the sun sets. She used to have a saying, before the street lights.
Oh.
Before the street lights come on. Yeah. But that's crazy. But then also at some point, especially when I finished now, I was in boarding school in high school, of course, so hapo hivyo, it doesn't really count. But now after I finished high school, it was crazy because she just wanted to make sure that I keep busy, I stay out of trouble. So she enrolled me for some Chinese course at University of Nairobi. And then tunatoka na yeye tunatoka na yeye from home because she used to run a printing press in River Road. So she'd put me there to work, like I'd either be in school
unatoka shule ukiingia
kama nimeingia job. So I started work there like as a graphic designer and paid labor every day.
ungesewa ulipwe
Every day. So how I would operate was I had to wait. I don't know if she'll watch this pod, but I'm sure she knows.
yeah
I'd have to wait for her to go to sleep and then sneak out. Either kama ni kuenda dunda or to go chill with my friends.
Actually do something.
I do something and then come back home by like 4-5 in the morning. Yeah.
And how do you manage? Was she a heavy sleeper? How do you?
Yeah, so the good thing is like her bedroom was quite far from mine. And mine was literally next to the door. Next to the door. So go to hivi. Akwambia nimedivise mama was like you'd leave like a cat. Like slow living. You open
And then tomorrow you are in school, you're tired.
And make sure the
you need
hinges
to
are
be
well
at work.
oiled at all times. Because
You have to be smart.
You have to be smart. You have to be smart. Otherwise, I was like, what is this life? I wonder.
Oh my goodness. Curfew.
Yeah.
We are a house of girls, but curfew was not very strict. I was just introverted. I was always in the house, but I saw my sisters. They came in at around 8ish. I think past 8 is when it was now alarming, and that would be alarming for anyone in a small town. Nairobi, ndio, I think people just go about their business up to 12 midnight. So did you have everything as an only child? Yes, until my sibling was born 10 years later. I became the deputy parent and an unpaid nanny. Nyinyi watu mlipata siblings baadaye, mwache kureply for only kids.
It doesn't apply to
That doesn't apply.
They've held on to the time. No, but I never had to share, which is difficult now as an adult. My things are my things, get your own. That was a very common response. Someone else said, yes. Then 10 years later, my brother was born. So unserious of my mother.
Like, they should weigh our opinions before you bring someone else. Mom, I'm the only one. Do not.
Yeah. I've had stories of when people come home, like, you know how you've gone to boarding and then you come home, you find your mom's stomach is bulging.
As if you're supposed to be involved in that.
I should be consulted as the last born, as the standing last born.
How rude.
All the trauma and all the BS. I know you meant all the good life, but no, I had it all, as in the hard side. I guess they're saying they did have it all in terms of material. Maybe you did have it all, but there's also a side that we don't see. Someone else said, I was the only child for 5 whole years. No, you are not.
It's a lifetime.
That is, some boundaries were kept, and that included no going out or playing with friends. So affected. Wait, were you allowed to like be with other kids outside playing?
Yes, but it was very, very supervised. Like it was extremely heavily supervised.
Yeah.
Heavily. Like I could it was almost prohibited. Kuna siku nilienda kukula avocado kwa wenyewe. Guy.
Wait, ulikuwa unachapwa? Do only kids get beaten?
I was beaten really badly. I was dragged. Kwanza my mom would just chapa you on the way, on the road.
My lord.
Kuchua avocado, surely.
Your mom had that thing.
She caught me mid avocado. Huh?
She would say, our parents would be like, kama hakuji kwetu.
Yeah.
So ukituma huko, wamekelea nyama, very for you. Do not.
I'd really like to understand what their logic was, because you were not allowed to go to people's places and do things like eat at people's places. But then it was frowned upon to be at someone's house and not eat their food. So it was just like, kwani umetudharau or something. I don't know. Me, that balance was very...
Hapa ni vita ama ni kulei. It's about...
Sometimes, Brian's stories, the one he says unaenda kwa wenyewe unapata wanapika nyama na wameacha maragwe kiboili nyumbani. My friend, I'm eating kiboko baadaye.
Me, I was disciplined. I remember there is a time I went to and found myself a lawyer. Our neighbor was a lawyer. I walked to him and nikamwambia, hey, me, I need to lawyer up. This is becoming too much.
That was at what age you are seeking counsel?
My legal team will be.
I was like 10. Like, I'm going to report you to a lawyer. So I went to our neighbors and I reported her.
What did mom
Me,
say?
I feel like this is things only kids and last ones can pull. And I'm gonna get a lawyer.
She's the
Lawyer
first
up.
born, middle, and last
Last one
born
at the
at the
same
same
time.
time.
The only kid at the same time. So.
I was confident, by the way. I was like, huyu lazima alale ndani. I went to my neighbors and then she called my mom. My mom came there. I don't know, they had a conversation about what. Na bado tena in the evening bado tu nikachapwa for going to for lawyering up.
Your mama kwa najua ulikuwa train for kudeal na corporate in the near future.
The African moms don't care. They just don't care.
That's wild. I really loved the sibling series. I think it's demystified a lot. I always just like had stereotypes about particular people. The last person here says, when my mom was alive, yes, but my dear, everything changed when she died 20 years ago. Man, watch her too. When your parents die, yo, go watch episode 3 and 4.
When your parents die as an only child.
Yes.
Hey, I'm
You
sure
can
that
imagine.
can be. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If people who have siblings have been treated like that, you can imagine being alone in this world.
Yeah.
You can't cultivate that kind of relationship with either your auntie or foster parent or
And there's already, I don't know if it's time we can talk about this, there's already so much, what do I call it, negativity around single parenthood and having one child. Africans view that very, very negatively. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll talk about it. I was the only child for 8 years. No, you were not. And at the time I had all the attention and love. So yeah. I wouldn't complain on the life given, but let's talk about mental health on the only child. So yeah, you get material things.
Yeah.
Someone else just said, no. Explain yourself. Someone else said, to the best of my mom's abilities, yes, she outdid herself and still does. I was comfortable. Wait, is that you? No, that's not you. That's just someone else.
Someone in the audience.
Yeah. Someone else said, Trio has the best as an only child. I am answering on his behalf. This is my friend and Trio is a cat. And yes, that cat is living. I want to be Trio.
Living the life.
Yeah. My lord. But I'm starting to not accept. I'm starting to normalize my friends who've gotten pets as kids because genuinely I see them treat them as a responsibility. Yeah. So yeah. Someone else said, hell, thumbs down. Being an only child, I'm so sorry for that experience. Someone else said, I enjoyed. And another person said, no, they didn't have everything as an only child. So the experiences are quite diverse. Yes. I'll read the last email I got. Mails are usually very long, and it basically just summarizes everything for us. And then we can talk about society. Remind me in case I forget the idea of society on, or rather the external pressures on twins and on the kids. Yeah. So this person says, hi, I am an only child. That's rare for African families. How many people did you know growing up who are an only child also? You alone. Where? You alone. You know a couple of other people? Okay.
Within my family, kwanza, none. Within my family, no. Extended, no.
And then school.
School, maybe uko primary, but I went to a shule uko in the village, and you know how they pop kids like chiclets.
How did it feel when you were in a family setup, let's say Christmas, holidays?
I think I was ousted a little bit because I always felt like I'm a spoiled kid. There was also a bit of jealousy from my cousins, some of whom I completely cut off. Like the jealousy was much because they just felt like I had it all, and my life was really good, and which was really not my fault for real, but you know how it goes. So there was a bit of like animosity that I experienced there.
Okay. Okay, I'll continue. That's rare for African families, so people always ask me what it's like. There's the good and the bad. On the good side, there was never a struggle for resources. My parents fully invested in me and in every way possible. I've gotten to travel around the world, had music, art lessons, etc. from as young as 3 years old. Always the best for their baby girl. Eish. I want to see the choices you guys make for men, because mtu hawezi kutafana 50-50. On the flip side, I was really shielded from struggle, and I was used to getting my way. I was taught respect and discipline though, but I always had a sense of entitlement, and I struggled with that as an adult, to give way to other people, to share. I never had to share a room or snacks or my parents' love and attention. So I crave attention. I enjoy it. I'm used to it. Trying to be okay with not always getting attention is hard, but I had to learn it on my own as an adult. Attention?
Yeah, I love attention.
Okay. Another aspect is independence. I had to figure out a lot of things on my own and became an independent thinker. Also, I grew up faster than my peers because I spent so much time with adults. That's true. The loneliness, the other kids had their siblings to play with. I could only play with other kids at school or my neighbors. Lakini giza isinipate nje. Or my cousin at the once in a while gatherings. The pressure from society and extended family to be perfect, there's no room for mistakes. I have to succeed because I have to carry on my parents' legacy. This was the worst part, being constantly reminded, what if I can't have kids? Will my parents' legacy end with me? People don't even care. It's also not their business whether my parents had one child by choice or circumstance. Being reminded when my parents are old, they're depending on me alone to take care of them. So I have to become rich. My parents never put this pressure on me though, just the society. I also worry about them. If I leave the country, who will visit them when I can't? All in all, I love our small band of 3 and wouldn't have it any other way. At the end of the day, through all the struggle, I don't know if people wish they had another way their family was set up. Do you ever think, ningetaka hile? Well, apart from being like Barack Obama's child.
Hiyo yake napenda sana. Because she had both parents.
Yeah.
I had my dad shortly before he passed on when I was quite young. And I remember when it was just like the 3 of us, it was a bit well balanced because he was very chilled and goofy, and he really like spoiled me. Whereas my mom is like the disciplinarian, very, very strict. So when he passed on, now I'm just left with the disciplinarian. So I think if I could choose, I would have still wanted us to remain like that unit of 3, like what she's talking about. Also just to have, a dad, a fatherly figure growing up. I think certain things would have been different. Probably I would have even stayed home like a bit longer. You
had someone to shield you from.
I would. So I think I would have really loved a setup like this lady. I think we share a lot of similarities from what she said, just apart from that being like very overly spoiled and showered with you like a baby girl. I never had a baby girl, and my mom was not a very affectionate person either.
Yeah.
So I think as part of that, growing up, I think it affected me somehow. Like I was an only child, but I wasn't babied. Sometimes I'm like, now what was the point? Yeah, and it was a point.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I wasn't babied, so I wasn't used to affection, and me not being used to that kind of affection translated towards in my adulthood and how I viewed even relationships and stuff. Personally, I'm a very, very lovey-dovey person, and I know that probably if I was to be a parent, I would, of course, shower my kid with as much affection as possible, because I lacked it. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know how what that experience is. My mom was quite like military, like, if, for lack of a better word. So I would change that aspect as well. Yeah.
I feel like I feel like if I relate to your mom a lot, and for me it's just because I don't know if I didn't grow up being touched. I do not like contact at all. So like I love people and I love them so much, but from over there, just like, stay there. I'll give you everything you want over there. I'll throw it at you. Now the thing when it comes to societal pressure, do you feel that? Do you feel, even you talked about like the legacy, if you want to be child free? Yeah,
I'm telling you, I relate to most of what she said, especially that Nini, the whole like legacy part. My mom did quite well for herself. She was very ambitious and you know, she achieved a lot of things in her life, some of which I'm just like, so when I think about it, I just get high blood pressure, because in no way, you know, like the way they say, like by the time your parents were 30, like they had their own house. My mom was exactly like that, own house by 30. Me, I'm just like struggling to survive.
But our economy is different.
It's
ours
different.
is Sugoi. Yeah, it's different.
But yeah, just to say, I do feel the pressure. I feel the pressure from pretty much my entire extended family, because you know, she's also just looked up. She's looked up to. And so it's expected that I should also you know, follow in her footsteps, which I don't even know if that's going to happen. Anyway, I'm still baby girl. I'm still children. I'm just a baby. So yeah, I do feel that.
Okay. For societal pressure, is there anything you get externally about twins that it feels like people expect of twins? Or have you also had people expecting that you also will give birth to twins?
Well, we've had that. Let's say, for instance, you know, people will ask between you and Ian, nani atapata twins? But biologically speaking, you know, most of the time, doesn't happen. Doesn't really
carry the genes. Is it us or our children? Maybe
most likely is our children.
Okay.
Oh, a fun fact. What is it called? You're called identical. Identical has not been. Scientists cannot figure it out. Apparently, it's a matter of chance.
How about fraternal?
So
fraternal, it's two ovums that were both fertilized.
If let's say you are dating someone, you know, of course, when you tell them you have a twin brother, that question will always pop up. You know, you get twins or something. So it happens. You get that sort of question from the outside. The societal pressure, mainly, let's say, if one person excel in a certain field, you get someone out there who will ask you, you know, your bro is doing well in this and this and this. What about you? What's going on? Why are you not, you know? Because they somehow expect us to be the same.
Exactly the same.
But we chose different paths. You know, he's doing what he's doing, I'm doing what I'm doing in everything, you know, career-wise, relationship, even in, I think maybe in our lifestyle, in our taste on how we, you know, we choose to live our lives. You know. For instance, recently someone asked me, Pato, you've always been outgoing. going to clubs and doing all sorts of stuff. But your brother, on the other hand, has been laid back. Kwa nini alikuwa hivyo? Amka mnaenda naye out, mkienda naye dunda ama nini? Alikuwa na prefer
you are to blame for some of the things.
Exactly. Yeah. But now it was more of it's just a preference. Tu alikuwa ataka kwa nyumba.
People don't understand preference and individuality for twins.
If nilikuwa naenda dunda, then Ian tulikuwa tuwafuatana.
Yeah.
But the good thing, let's say when you had bashes in the kwa nyumba na nini, will also be
I'll be there with my
indulged and everything.
Fanta orange apple in a nice. Give me sugar, I'll be hyped up.
Yeye ni ule unakelea Fanta 3 anabreak ndio huyo.
Cookies zote wanapigana na bottle tops.
Ndio sasa. Ndio nasema yeye ukunya chesa zetu. Ukiacha chesa hapo anakunywa.
Yeah. And are you each other's best friends? Or do you have your own best friends?
I think we have our own.
We have our
audience, yeah. But there's that, other than the societal pressure, I think I feel responsible for him. Like at times we disagree, but at the end of it all, I'd have that feeling of I need to make sure he's doing okay or he's trying to be, getting out of a jam or something. Kwa kutoana jam, tumetoana jam. Mostly he's the one being caught by cops. Sijui license, sijui nini. Just amegonga nini.
If you don't drive, you don't get caught.
So me being the princess passenger there, I have to bail him out. So I think deep down we sort of look out for each other.
Yeah.
I'd give him a call and just go direct to the point. We don't do chats and you just ukopoa kuna nini bas.
And that's the dynamic between you two only and not with the other siblings. You don't feel that responsibility for
I know deep down I can rely on him and vice versa, like it's easier that way. That's how I always felt, like it's easier. I call Ian, I need this, this has happened and all that. And I'm sure it's the same. Just us. Even though you can call someone else, but it just felt like just us.
He's mentioned, people be like, always kuwa kapato. Ama Ian, always kuwa kama, unajua the other way around. But I felt, for us, to limit all that. It is us. My parents never give us pressure. Mpaka wa leo. We are both over, we are 31, January, so.
It's wild to say we are
31, So I would post him. I would post him, then he'd mark a message. Thank you. Like this, it's nothing. Just thank you.
Yeah.
We're never sentimental. When it comes to dating, I think I've never told him, I am dating someone.
Yeah.
It is upatan or undo mama. Okay.
And dating. Do you have the same type?
No.
No.
I would think so.
He has his own type. I was one. Now that's my own personality. I was one to think everything is a plan. Like you have to finish primary, high school, campus, then get a white collar job, then date, fall in love, live happily ever after. So see his seasonal daters. I'm a dating every day. Kwa nyumba ameleta mtu, mimi napewa exile, end up yes. Go somewhere. Mimi niko. Lord, what is happening?
I did mention a few minutes ago, wild card.
Wild card. Me was churchy. I used to be. It is Sunday, spend the whole day in church. Saturday, the whole day in church. Yes. Excel wanajua nikifukuzwa napeleka church.
Yeah, my Lord.
Mimi niko huko, Lord Father,
not
pray.
A church person, really.
But there was time he used to come to church, then he vanished because we were na brother yako alienda up. His own path.
He will sing in church. He's good at singing in the choir. I will DJ. Me, I don't really trust.
Which church is this that has a DJ?
PCA.
Whenever there are events, so I would hook him up. Cure youths. Kuna ka form, come na deck. So he'd come and do some.
I was a resident DJ back then.
Okay.
But other than, I think dating, maybe I'm yet to meet some of the ladies. I've met them, but ile kuwajua. Some of wengi, I can flip a few pages.
Population.
Me, I think even our audience back there, they know my dating life is a bit limited. I'm one to just settle and just watu wengine hapa.
Mine is diverse.
Unajua pelekea. You took someone to mom, so mimi sija introduce.
My Lord.
Yes, mimi sija. We've never, with our parents, yes, we were close and all that.
But now close to mom, so maybe
the
that's
difference is, I think, tukio wengi hivyo kwetu, mom and dad ni kama hawana hiyo space ya the sentimental things. So mom, I'm dating, we've never had that.
Maybe that's an African thing, not even.
I'm guessing it's an African. Maybe I'd want different when I get my own kids. So mom ajaijua ati mom it is just niko na nani
unaleta wang'ombe. You don't bring random people home.
Maybe things will change when we become fathers. I had a question. Yes, I understand you'd want to be child free. Is it a conversation you'd want to rethink later in life?
Later? I'm past 30.
Mbona unatuzeesha?
Unafanya watu wa 31 okay 22 hapa.
I don't know. I think definitely the way I grew up is kind of as what has impacted that decision. But I don't know. I think I'm about 80% sure as of now. As of now, I'm 80% sure. And with every moving in this Ruto's economy, every single day, it's like moving closer and closer to 100.
By the way,
reality check. For me, I think I'd want a small family. I don't want a big family like we were.
Yeah.
Don't know about him. For me, I'd want a small family.
No,
I'd want
a girl and a boy.
I feel like there's
Fuck your twins, the best.
There are things that lacked in a big family setup that I'd want to maybe improve.
Yes.
Mental space and all that. I'd want a small family.
Attention.
Put a million attention to that baby.
And I was even thinking for your relatives, instead of being jealous, why don't you look at Cherie's life and be like, by the way, me when I get kids, I want that for my kids than just being out here. She's entitled. Make sure your kids are entitled to things. Yeah. Yes, you wanted to say? Okay. There's last two here. Being an only child in Africa is overstimulating. The attention without boundaries. I just sleep over at a friend's place as unpaid time off from family. So kuna watu wa escape kwa Airbnbs. And last person here is a hater. Akasema, hapo kwa only child, I'm very curious. My only child friends be entitled idiots, even though some of them are past 25.
Your entitlement, I'd just say it's just upbringing.
I don't think it's entitlement per se. I feel like as Africans, we sort of interpret confidence as entitlement. We were all
could be.
Yes, humility was drilled into us, and it wasn't the healthy kind of humility.
Yeah.
It was like, if you come and tell me, oh, your hair is nice, I'm supposed to be ata sijachana. If I say, oh, thank you, I know. That's a problem. You're entitled. I think it's our interpretation of what entitlement.
Actually, probably there are a lot of people who think I'm entitled, by the way.
Maybe just because you're confident.
But now that's from their own point of view. You know, they haven't really met you and get to understand your decision-making process, how you value things and all that.
Yeah. Anyway, episode your last bones can explain better. We really thought they were entitled until they came here and explained their perspective, and then it just sort of, it makes sense. Yeah. That brings us to the end of our episode on twins and only kids. And that brings us to the end of the series for siblings. So we finished all siblings. If we've not covered you, I don't know, unless you're a conjoined twin. I honestly have tried. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you for sharing your experiences. I appreciate so much. And until next week, my fabulous name is OLAVEORAWO. This is the In All Honesty podcast. Bye.
Next on the In All Honesty podcast.
Still on family matters, we've covered all siblings, but now still in the Family Matters, the most requested episode in season 3 was people born to polygamous families. And since I don't know if I'll have all of you come in, there was also a request for people who have blended families, or rather have grown up with step siblings or a step parent. Yes, please come, let us talk how that experience looks like for you. Is it easy to integrate two families? How is it living in a community where you have multiple parents, multiple siblings, some are not direct blood? Yeah, let's just talk about it. Blended families and polygamous families. That's what we'll be talking about next week. And you can always reach out to me through my socials. DM me at OLAVEORAWO. And you can also send your stories through my email at olaveorawo@gmail.com.
Do you hear that? Would you lend me some coins, please? The In All Honesty podcast needs you to continue running. I will deeply appreciate support from you. You can send monetary contributions to my Mpesa +254 728 171 059 via PayPal at OLAVEORAWO. That is OLAVEORAWO. You can support the podcast indirectly by buying merchandise and services I offer listed on my WhatsApp catalog. My WhatsApp number is +254 728 171 059. Did you think I'd forget? Advertise with the In All Honesty podcast. Hit me up to talk about it. You can do that via WhatsApp +254 728 171 059 or via email olaveorawo@gmail.com, or you can also DM me on socials at OLAVEORAWO. You know, the hand that gives will receive an episode every week. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm in what was once a dream. So if I do some quick math, the future equals a dream come true. Since 1992, In All Honesty, a podcast by OLAVEORAWO.